Hi everybody, I want to show you how I made my little flower shop room box. For those of you who subscribe and follow me, you will see that I do a lot of room boxes. My dollhouse is just too big and I have too much stuff. So I wanted to do more concentrated themes. So I've gotten into these room boxes. This is another box that I bought from Michaels. It closes up, the lid closes up. This is the lid down here. So when you use it as a room box, it makes it look like it's upside down when you have it closed sitting on a shelf. But I don't close mine up and leave them on the shelf. I leave them out to be displayed like this, so for me it doesn't matter. So let me start by showing you, because this has a lot of small things in here. It's probably going to be a little bit of a lengthy video. Most things are probably going to fall over when I pick them up. I usually use a temporary adhesive just to hold things in place. It won't do any damage, but because I'm going to be picking everything up so much today to show you the video, I didn't use that adhesive, and because there's so many little things in here, I'm probably going to be bumping them and knocking everything over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the front, work my way back, and not put anything back in its place. If there's anything here that you want me to do a tutorial on so that you can really see how I did it, just leave me a message below and I'll let you know. Most of these things are just assembly. I only made a couple things by hand, otherwise it's mostly just assembly work. So there shouldn't be too many questions, but if you need to know, just let me know and I'll make a video. So what I did with this little topiary here was I bought a bag at Michael's of these topiaries, and it's really small, and all I did was shoved it into a little terracotta pot, put some hot glue on it, and tied a bow around it. So that was nice and simple, but it makes a really big statement, really cheap and really easy. I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. My focus is a little bit off today. Over here, I made this table. I'm going to do the pattern for this. It'll be available in my Etsy shop. I make a table for just about everything that I do because they're so quick, they're so easy, and I do them for all the different holidays. So watch for that. That tutorial will be in my Etsy shop so that you can get all your measurements and make your own tables. So much cheaper than buying them, and as I said, you can have them for every occasion. So what I did here was I bought a little tin can, I believe from AC Moore. They have a little miniature area too. You have to watch with theirs because those are more garden fairy size. So some things are going to matter if you're trying to do it to scale. I didn't mind having a bigger bucket than a 1/12 scale because I'm really not staying on 1/12 scale. I'm trying to stay to the scale of the box, but normally I work in 1/12. So I just took some flowers here and I broke them off of the stem and cut them off of the stems when I bought them from Michaels, and then I just wrapped them in some craft paper and glued them, and on this one I just put some leaves behind it, and then I just stuck them loosely in that tin like a basin, like a wash tub. Over here I have another terracotta pot that I painted, and I stuck some floral foam down in there, and I cut all the little flowers away from the big flowers that I bought at Michael's, and that's what I did. I just went in and I looked for anything that was really, really small, and I bought it, and then I cut the pieces off and just stuck them in individually, and then I put some additional little flowers in there to cover up the flower foam, that green floral foam. These pins that I have, and a couple of these were Tim Holtz pins. I found them on clearance for like $1, and I think there were like 24 in there, so I couldn't go wrong. They were in the scrapbooking section, so look always in every department when you're working with miniatures because you never know what you're going to find. I just stamped out a little, or punched out with a small punch that I had, and then embossed, and just wrote $5 on the top for this one. And then I did the same thing here. Again, I just took off the little flowers, painted the little pot, hot glued them in there. I did the same thing on this one, so I won't show you this one. This one's not a terracotta pot. This one's actually a wooden pot, so you can get these in a bag of, I don't know, 6, maybe even 12 at AC Moore for $1 or $2. And if you're not using a coupon, use a coupon on it. And then I painted that. But same thing, that's the same blue flower you saw before. I just added some green to it. This one here is different. So what I did here was terracotta pot, smaller one. I got this at Hobby Lobby. They have the really small terracotta pots, and I'll get them there when they go on sale for 50 cents. But it's 50 cents for like a bag of 6. So I'll always pick those up. And they have a little bit of a different texture than the bigger ones that I buy at AC Moore. But anyhow, this one, what I did was I glued some Spanish moss down in there. Then I have a tiny little die cut punch. I'm a scrapbooker too and a card maker, so I have lots of punches. And this is a tiny little punch that I got from Michael's for $1, and I punched it out, and then I used some wire, and I just glued the little flower right there. The flower doesn't have the hole in the center, so you just had to poke the hole in the center, which is no big deal. And then I used my ball roller to just roll the sides of it up a little bit. You know, my little ball tool, just to roll the sides to give it a little bit of shape. And then I just glued them to that wire, let them dry overnight, and they're good as new. Now this little shelf, I got this at AC Moore also in that fairy section. Again, I wasn't worried about scale so much because that can be a little bit larger in your floral shop. That's fine. This little set, I got this little chair and stand a while back, I believe at Hobby Lobby. This is, there it goes. This is the same thing. Tear little flowers off, put some peat moss in there. Again, this is one of the wooden vases from AC Moore. Or Michael's, but I'm pretty sure it's from AC Moore. I crocheted a little doily for my stand. It's nice when you're doing miniatures. I have found miniatures is my last hobby that I've picked up, but through the years I've quilted and crocheted, knitted, scrapbook. I still do all of those things, but just right now I'm doing a lot of miniatures. So it's nice when you do miniatures and you already know how to do all of those things, because I think it makes you much more versatile and you don't have to spend as much money because you can just make your own things. These little flowers, I don't really like these flowers too much, but I needed to add some blue, and there wasn't much of a selection at Michael's. So these are the ones that I got, but I didn't like the way that I don't know what it's called, the piston, I don't even know what that's called, was sticking out as much as it is, because it definitely gives it a fake flower look. There's my little chair that goes with that. Here's the table that I was telling you about. Everything should fall right about now. These are, again, just some of the other little flowers and a little, this is a wooden pot. This is not a terracotta pot, but this one's different than the other one. And I painted that, stuck some hot glue in there. Same thing here, and you can see how small that little opening is in that one, which was great for something like this. If you want some longer flowers, you don't have to put a filler in there. These little bottles, I love these little bottles. So these little bottles are from, well, you can get them in all the places. So I think I got these from Hobby Lobby. And these I just filled up with some little seed beads just to add some color to my shop. And I did this with some little scrapbook. I don't even know what these are. They almost look like they're wax melts, but someone had given them to me for scrapbooking. She was a big scrapbooker, and I have them in a bunch of different colors, and I just thought they would look really cool in there, but I'm not exactly sure what they are. There was no label. They were just in little Ziploc bags, so I figured I'd use them. I made my little cash register. I didn't care that it didn't look so realistic. I wasn't going for that. I just wanted something that resembled a cash register, so I made it out of polymer clay, and I was content with that. I took some more of the flowers and I just made them a little bit longer, put them over some craft paper so that it looks like you're getting ready to wrap them up with the craft paper and the string underneath to tie them up. I put some extra craft paper here. Now this is a piece of fabric that I just die cut and then cut it in half to put it on here just to give the table a little bit of decoration. And here I made a box. I was going to make a couple boxes, but everything, it was starting to look like it was a little much, but I just wanted to put one gift box under there at least to make it look like you could have your flowers gift wrapped if you wanted them. Let me move you back here now. Okay, and back here we have another tub with flowers, same thing as before, just wrapped them in the craft paper, tied them up, stuck them in a bucket. This is the same as the other big terracotta pot. These are the big blue flowers that I said that I didn't like. I don't mind them so much in the big terracotta pot, but I don't like them in the smaller one. So, but a big pot like that gives a lot of style, a lot of color in this little space. This is just a little frame that I made. I had it over in this corner originally. I did like it over there, but you know, I kept moving things around. I got the mold for this by the Hot Glue one. What is it? Mod Podge now that makes all of the molds. So this was one of their molds, I believe. Or it may not have been. It actually may have been a frame that I bought and then molded myself. So then I just went back and put my paints. Okay, so this little shelf over here I made out of wood and I glued it together. It's two pieces. I just gave the top a little shape and then I made the shelf. I glued them together and then I attached it to the wall. I bought this little birdhouse. This was another, I think, A.C. Moore special with those little fairy items. I'm going to zoom in back here because I know that I'm going to knock everything over if I try to go back. That's another flower pot just like this one that I showed you before with the small punch. I don't know why it's not focusing today. But that's a different shape. So I did that one the exact same way, and that pot I actually made out of polymer clay. I wanted the pot just to have a little bit of a different shape, more of like a bowl. Back here, I have a banner that I made. I made those little individual flags with a little punch that I have, but you don't need a punch for those. That was a Stampin' Up! Punch. Those are easy. You just cut a little triangle out. I put them on a piece of string, and then I taped it to the back just to give it a little bit more color back there. That wooden birdhouse is from Michaels, and they have all kinds of decorations that are in the wooden section. They're all like these laser cut dies. So I just did like a dry brush wash on that with whites and purples, and I like the way that it came out. So I attached that to the wall, and then over here is another one of those frames like I had showed you before, like my pink frame. I made the mold out of that, and then I just attached a flower in the center. That's a scrapbooking flower. They sell those in the scrapbooking section. And let me zoom back out here. Those flowers are same thing, terracotta pots, cut apart, put in with the Spanish moss. And the one in the center, I didn't put the Spanish moss in. I put some of those little purple beads, the ones that I said before, I don't know what they are. I think maybe like a wax type thing. So that's almost like it looks almost like a filler, like it would if it were in a clear vase. Over here, my ladder, I made the ladder and then I just attached some greenery to it, a little bit of Spanish moss and some of the topiary from before, another piece that was in the bag that I bought. I wanted to add some green. I didn't want it to just all be color. This pot is actually my favorite pot. I love these little flowers, so I put a piece of green floral foam in there and then just broke all my flowers apart and stuck them in, again with the pin, the Tim Holtz pin. And then the table, I made the table myself too, just added some scrap wood that I had, glued the legs together, and you know, I have that. And I make a lot of those too when I need some extra space. Now, this is actually one of my favorites. This was fun to make. So I made the little cactus out of polymer clay. I used the really, really tiny little pots, and I found this little rusty wagon, and I really like that because I think it's important to have the cactus and things because not everybody has a green thumb. I definitely don't, but I don't kill cactus and I don't kill bamboo, but if it has a flower, I do kill it. So it's nice to have cactus available in your floral shop also. Now I will show you the way that this folds up. Remember I told you the bottom comes up and it's just a magnet here and it closes right up to the top. You hear the magnet close. So if I wanted to, I could store all of the pieces in there, but they would really have to be stacked because I have so many that come out flat on the floor area. So if I open it back up again, you see all the space that I have now down below to put all my items back. I think room boxes are great, especially if you want to give something to a little girl and you're not sure if she would be responsible enough yet for a big dollhouse, or you don't have the time to put all the work into it. I think room boxes are awesome because you can design them to somebody's liking also. You know, somebody may not have use for a living room in a dollhouse, but if you have a friend that has a yarn shop, you can make a yarn shop miniature of her yarn shop, or somebody that likes to knit or quilt or bake or whatever it is. You could do all kinds of beach scenes and things like that. So I have a couple more that I'm going to show you in other videos. So again, if you need to see anything up close, or if you want to see how I made anything in here, just leave me a comment below and I will work on that.